Hey you guys, it's Destiny back with another video. You're watching the Decimania channel on YouTube. Just got done watching TNA's first pay-per-view of their schedule for 2025. Just got done watching Genesis, and did that pay-per-view ever deliver? That freaking was a great card, top to bottom. Like, the weakest match on the card was Knockouts tag team title match, but everything else was freaking great. And we'll talk about all of that. But before we do, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you haven't already, so you don't miss any new content. I upload weekly. Like, share the video if you would like to, and make sure you leave a comment if you would like. Alright, I guess we'll kick off the matches. On the pre-show, they had the Busted Open panel hosting. It was Mark Henry, David LaGreca, and Tommy Dreamer. And Gia Miller, who of course is their backstage interviewer for TNA. And the first match on the card was an impromptu match between Ashante the Adonis and Jake Something. Jake Something got the victory. Part of this new crossover between TNA and NXT. Well, not new, but like signed up a multi-year partnership. I hope they expand it to the main roster too. I really hope they do, because that would be kind of cool. You know, if you want to make must-see TV every week, you need to do it across all three brands in WWE and also with TNA. But we'll talk about that later on in another video, maybe. And then we had Frankie Kazarian versus Leon Slater. I predicted Slater to win, but Frankie Kazarian won. And the night kicked off with Ace Austin and Moose for the X Division Championship on the main card. Apparently there's a new gold, like pure gold X Division Championship that Moose brought out. Ace Austin almost had the daggone thing won, but JDC got involved, and then kind of wish Macklin and Young would have came out and helped Ace, even if Moose was going to retain. But I actually kind of like how they did this, now that I think about it. So what happened was, after Moose retained, the system came down and beat down Ace Austin, and then Macklin and Young came out. And it transitioned into the next match, which was Macklin and Young versus Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. So Macklin and Young got the victory in that match. Alicia Edwards got involved in that match. I don't know what the referee's problem was tonight in these first two matches, but like, you just didn't see anything going on with the system. Like, Alicia Edwards got in the ring and smacked frickin' Steve Macklin. What the frick? You need to eject her from ringside in the first place. Like, do we not eject people from ringside anymore? What the frick? Okay, the next match was, in my opinion, the match I was looking forward to the least. Heather and Ash by Elegance versus Spitfire. Actually, I was expecting Heather and Ash to win, but they didn't. Spitfire retained, which is, I guess, fine for now. I just wish they would establish some more tag teams or something. And then they had, actually, the match I was kind of looking forward to the most, besides Joe Hendry and Nick Nemeth, obviously. But, Jordan Grace and Tessa Blanchard. This match was freaking great. I didn't catch the very end of it, but I know Tessa did win. Because my, internet was acting weird. So I had to close out the app and go back into it, but... yeah, Tessa beat Jordan Grace with Magnum, her top rope finishing move, named after her stepdad, the great Magnum TA, who, unfortunately, his career was ended by a tragic car wreck in the 80s, but, I wonder if, I don't know, they didn't show them on camera if they were, but I wonder if Magnum and, Tully were there, but I don't know. Look, I think she's gonna have to prove herself a little bit more than just that one match, because it was obvious this crowd was not into Tessa. I don't know if they just didn't like her, or if, I don't know, it was noticeable. I mean, like I said, let's just see where this goes, and see if she can behave herself. If she can prove that she can work together with others, I don't really see any problem with this. And I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to be professional, like Jordan was here tonight. You know? It's about business at the end of the day. I understand people have personal grudges. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you should probably put business aside, or personal feelings aside, and do business. But there I go again about Tessa. But then came the I Quit match between Josh Alexander and Mike Santana. These two beat the crap out of each other. One of the most brutal I Quit matches I think I've ever seen. Not since, I don't know. The one between AJ and Cody last year was pretty good. I'm trying to remember the last good I Quit match I saw. I don't know, maybe the Hardys? I don't remember exactly, but yeah, so what happened at the end of the match was, they did a couple Eddie Guerrero spots, especially Santana, where he had, Josh had him in the ankle lock, and Santana's boot went flying. A lot of tribute to Eddie and Kurt Angle's, WrestleMania 20 match, which is one of my favorites of all time. I don't know why that's not on any of Eddie's DVDs. I don't really get that. But eventually, Santana got out his slapjack thingy and hit Josh with it a couple of times. And I think he was about to do something. I think he was about to hit him in the mouth with it or something. And Josh finally was like, okay, I quit. And then he was like, not only do I quit tonight, but I also quit TNA wrestling, which, I mean, does confirm, yeah, he is leaving. At least from what we know. So, all the best of luck to Josh Alexander. Hope to see him in AEW or WWE at some point. Or maybe he just wants to go try out the independents for a while. I don't know. But want to see him back in TNA again one day. But, you know. Then we had the Rascals versus the Hardys in a tag team titles match. And for Axiom, Nathan Frazier and Axiom were sitting at ringside. And the Rascals kind of got into it with them a little bit during the match. And they sent Nathan and Axiom back to the backstage area. And then the Hardys retained their titles in a pretty good match. It was fun. It was pretty fun. Then we had the Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. Another freaking brutal match. Ugh. Frick. Rosemary and Masha Slamovich beat the crap out of each other. I'm actually kind of surprised that there was no... I don't know. I've seen some pretty brutal stuff, but not like, ugh. Like, one point, Rosemary got, Masha got slammed into the tacks, and she ended up biting the freaking tacks out of her hand. What the frick? Who does that? Ugh. But Masha ended up winning. And finally we had the main event. But before that, we had the Busted Open panel give their predictions for the main event. Mark Henry said Joe Hendry. David LaGreca said that Nick Nemeth was going to win. And then Tommy Dreamer, he was given a chance to give predictions, but he never got to make his predictions because freaking Ryan Nemeth came out like a freaking idiot. Like, no one cares what Tommy Dreamer has to say. I cannot stand his freaking voice. Something about Ryan Nemeth I just can't stand. Like, he's a good wrestler. He is. I don't know. I guess that voice of his just works for a heel. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad. It's just, I don't know. I think it works for a heel, but it's just so daggone annoying at the same time. But then again, I guess that's supposed to be what it is. Joe Hendry versus Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And Layfield, Nemeth, and Kazarian all got involved. I mean, JBL didn't make contact with any of the participants in the match. He clotheslined Kazarian, and then he took out Ryan Nemeth. And then left. We haven't heard a word from JBL since he came to TNA. This is really weird. But then Joe Hendry, I mean, Nick was getting a little arrogant. But then Hendry hit the standing ovation a couple of times. Hit the fallaway slam, and Joe Hendry is your new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. I really am happy for him. So happy for him. I think we're going to see him in a couple weeks at the Royal Rumble. But we'll talk about that later when we do predictions for that. Next Friday. Not this Friday, but next Friday. And speaking of which, we'll be doing another Royal Rumble review tomorrow. We're going to be reviewing Royal Rumble 1998. So stay tuned for that. I'm happy for Joe, I really am. His mom and dad were in the crowd. It was great. I loved it. I played his music a couple of times, and then I was worried because when John Layfield came out, I thought he was going to hit Joe Hendry again, but no, he hit Kazarian and Ryan. But then he left, and Joe Hendry won the title, so what's that all about? I mean, this JBL thing kind of doesn't make any sense. Where does he even fit into this? I don't know. I was thinking we would see Baron Corbin tonight, but I don't know. Maybe that's for another time. Maybe he'll debut next week or something. But that's your Genesis pay-per-view. It was a fun show. It really was. I loved how they kicked it off. Their sacrifice event, unfortunately, I will not be here for. So that might be something I'll have to watch when I get back, and I'll review that at some point or something, but I will not be here for their sacrifice event because I'll be gone that weekend. But I'll see you guys tomorrow for another Royal Rumble review. You guys have a good night. Peace.